Call the meeting to order. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Claire.
Here.
Graylow.
Here.
Brody.
Here. Here.
Gilbertson.
Here. Minus with the deletion of Scott Hansen.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Any conflict of interest declarations? Hearing none. From the August 18th meeting.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion passes. Are there any visitors to be heard that don't appear on the agenda? Hearing none. For the public readings or public hearing, second reading of proposed ordinance 2026-05, imposing a county gross receipts tax and use tax for Clay County, South Dakota. We'll take public comment, 3-minute time frame. So if there's anybody that would like to speak.
Yes, I would. This is Evelyn Schlenker. I live on 306 South Yale Street, and I have two comments relative to the ordinance. The first one is how the tax property, in quotes, relief will be administered and divvied out is not mentioned at all in the ordinance. And then the second thing is that if the state collects the revenue, why is there a county administrative fee?
Yeah, Michael Smith, I'm the state's attorney. The language of the ordinance is drafted pursuant to the regulations were provided by the Department of Revenue. So that's the language that they wanted incorporated. As for the administration, there's a lot of county level administration. It is being collected by the state, but it's ultimately dependent upon treasurer's office and I believe equalization to ensure that by law, it's equal percentage is how the tax relief is to be granted. So determining equal percent owner occupied on the county level, which is why there's a county fee annually.
There's also some additional work. My understanding is that we'll have to do some additional reporting we'll have to do on which addresses exactly are in the county, because the county doesn't, or the state doesn't currently have a list in their Department of Revenue system that they can use to accurately say like where sales occurred, which ones occurred in Clay County or which ones occurred in Yankton County or Turner. So particularly like in Irene.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
It's always on.
Okay, all right, that makes it easy. All right, thanks, everyone. I'm Ed Garish. I live here in Vermont. I've emailed you a couple times about these issues. I'm studying public administration at USD, and I teach public financial management. So I teach property sales tax as part of my regular teaching, and I'm starting my personal capacity, yada yada, not reviews of institution. My thoughts on this, and this is really unfortunate that the legislature gave you a really blunt tool to relieve a really acute problem. So there are generally people who need tax relief because they're on fixed incomes and their incomes have not gone up with inflation and property taxes, as you've seen costs go up for counties. But this is a really bad instrument for doing that, and it's really unfortunate they're not looking across other states for some of the programs that they have in other states, like circuit breakers or targeted tax relief to the folks here. And as a result, this is going to be a really expensive way to solve a problem that is a problem for, really a problem for a small number, in that their property taxes are in their ability to get by day to day. And what this is going to end up doing is really benefiting those who have very, very high property values, and really harming those who are on a fixed income but are otherwise renters. And so this is going to be, so it sounds really fair, right? It's a half penny sales tax, comes in, applies to everybody, so everyone pays it in. out to folks who are owner occupied. The problem is it doesn't scale. It scales linearly by dollar value of the house property. So I was doing some math, and one of the things I would note is that the governor's office sent you some details, which I had sent in a memo. Numbers are totally wrong. They are apportioning the sales in counties across the states equally by population. Took all of the interstate gas stations and all of the tourism stops in the Black Hills, and they applied that to Clay County, meaning that you're going to generate a lot less in sales in the county than we do have numbers for Irene and Burbank and Wakanda and Vermilion, so we actually know those numbers fairly well. The apportioning Irene is kind of hard, right? But there's not a lot of sales going on in the county, and a lot of sales in the county. And so I think our relief will actually be about 2/3 actually calculated to be gave to you. So whatever numbers you're getting from the internal staff and relying on governor's numbers, I think those will just be wrong. But even if you do using my numbers, right, a home in Rolling Hill right now, which is full and true value $800,000, would get a credit of $1,500 a year. A home in my neighborhood, Bliss Point, worth $660,000, comes out about $1,000 a head. And those are not what I normally think of as needing tax relief, at least not to that. Whereas if you spend $45,000 here in Vermilion and you are a renter, which is a lot of people I know and describes them fairly well, you're paying about $250 more every year in the sale. So you're getting no benefit, but you're paying $250 more every single year. And those are folks. Look, when I think about this, I drive down, right? I drove past the town square apartments, right? We got clients in Sestak. We got folks on High Street. Came down this way who are renters in the smaller homes. Those are all folks staying in and receiving nothing back. And to me, I hate the way that that state got giving you very few choices on how to structure this, but it doesn't make sense to me to tax those folks more, to give tax relief to folks who have homes like mine or others that are $600,000, $800,000. I really don't like that they give you this choice. I really think there is a significant problem for certain folks in terms of needing targeted tax relief, but I just don't think this is a good way to do it. So I would have a really hard time living with myself if I thinking about relieving, some folks, right, and not others. And I think that really my biggest with this, which is not that it doesn't need to happen. It's just that the county or the state legislature really didn't think hard about how to do this. It was a compromise on a compromise between two pieces of legislation. SB 245 is all we're going to do, some of what we're promising to do here. And so adding more to that without knowing what the effect of SB 245 is going to be just seems like a really big risk and a really big cost to folks who can't truly can't afford. So thank you very much for your time.
Anyone else?
Any other comments on this one?
Hearing none. If I close the public comment.
I saw Jared paper. Yeah, I was just like, sure.
Gotta pay attention.
Morning, Jerry Wilson. It's good that we're having hearings on controversial issues because sometimes usually elected officials. Here from last week, you heard from a lot of people who you represent, and the perspectives that you heard were almost universally opposed to the proposed tax shift property owners to the general public. You might say that last week you heard primarily from a particular segment of the population. You didn't hear from a lot of working people because of they're at work. And you didn't hear from a lot of people who don't pay attention to what's going on in the county. It's hard to do given the news coverage we have. You have to sort of work at it to be informed. But you didn't hear from those folks, and they affected too. You're hearing, in fact, is probably mostly from people for whom this tax change would positively impact them. That is, they would probably see an overall tax reduction because the majority of us are homeowners. I think that what the folks who've come to testify are interested in is the general good of the communities and what's fair for the community. I believe that you all see yourselves as public servants, as you should. And yes, you're representing people of varying interests. Let us recall, as was pointed out, that South Dakota is among the most regressive tax states in the nation. And one of only a handful, for example, taxes groceries. In South Dakota, low-income people already pay greater percentage of their income than upper income people, and this would just exacerbate that. So I'm guessing that most of the people in this room are in an upper income bracket, not necessarily rich, but financially able to pay taxes. And as long as the taxes I pay are used in the public interest, I have no complaint. Remember that this is not a tax increase to the county budget, supplement the county budget. That's enable better services, better safety, bridges. It is just a tax shift and tax liability. So I ask simply that you consider the interests of the majority of the Clay County citizens and reject this tax shift. Thank you.
Suzanne Skirm, 722 Lewis Street. I'd just like to second what Jerry said. You're all elected. I don't know what you've heard privately by email or letter. I do know that you have heard great opposition to this ordinance meeting and last week's meeting. And I would just ask you to consider the opinion of your constituents who are opposed to this. Please vote it down.
Any other comments?
If I may. Michael Smith, State's Attorney again. Last week, there was a discussion about the ability to send directly to the voters. That was a discussion that we had in this room last Tuesday. I also had a follow-up with Kevin Brady last week as well. I did some independent research as well as reached out to colleagues to kind of figure out why that has been the prevailing theory amongst the state. Can provide for you is that Section 8 through 10 of SB 96, which is codified generally in SCL 10, B4 through 6, stands for the proposition that the implementation of this tax shall be adopted pursuant to Chapter 718. 718A13, which controls initiative measures, which would be how you take the matter to the voters, states, and the relevant portion states that if a petition initiate is filed with the auditor, this would be before any action by this board. If a petition is filed with the auditor shall present that petition to the board at the next regularly scheduled meeting. The board shall submit it to a vote of the voters in a manner prescribed for a referendum, which essentially is within 60 days or 90 days if you're close enough to an election. Chapter 718A does not have any language allowing a board to directly refer an ordinance to a vote. So this board, my opinion, by the way that 718A reads, is that this board can't essentially say we would like this ordinance to go to the voters. It would have to be initiative. It's the only way that you are the flow through. Instead, how the way that 718A reads, a vote must be made by this body, if short of an initiative measure. A vote must be made by this body on an ordinance, which is what we're here today, which then generates the ability for the citizens to refer the adopted ordinance. It seems as if that was likely a draft oversight and the legislative oversight. I believe that admitted as much potentially. It at least feels that way. However, the only authority conferred by statute, and thus there is no legal authority, in my opinion, and the opinion across the state amongst most states' attorneys and legal minds have looked at this. There's no legal authority for this board to send the matter directly to a vote, which is why we're here today. I just want to put some more clarification. Asked again yesterday or last week. We had a conversation. I had an ability to do more independent research. I feel comfortable that that is the legal analysis.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Went a little on that.
You're welcome.
If I'm hearing you correctly, then the public could initiate essentially what's in front of us today, or they could have.
They could have, yeah.
And then we would have had the option of voting on.
If
or
they initiate, you just, it's.
It
we
just,
you're
we hear it and then it goes out to a vote on it.
correct. Ultimately, the auditor would bring you at the next meeting. If it's in any initiated measure, it's filed with the auditor and it meets all the criteria and all the signatures and everything conformity according to the auditor and state law. Then the auditor would present to this board at their next meeting, the initiated measure, and then there would be a vote that would occur, or a special election or an
Okay.
election in a way in which is prescribed for a referendum.
Coming before this body is just so that the public knows that it's occurred.
Yeah, essentially they're conduit at this
Right.
point, at that,
Yeah.
point. You just flow through to get it on to either a election or the next election.
Thank you.
And I should probably just clarify that with the timeline from the last several weeks, even the last month, to publication, it's just not possible to get this on the November ballot. However, because of the timing, likely we would have the November election and then an election a week or two later.
That was a question that I was wondering, is that if citizens did gather, say if there was some date they could get them in by in order to get them onto the November.
It just can't have the way the timeline is laid out. We're ordering ballots now.
Gotcha.
Step up the mic, please.
Less Garish, Vermillion. So if it's not on the November ballot and it's like November 15th or 20th or whatever, is there, and it does not pass, right? So then what the commission, if the commission passes it today, then it goes into law. Does that delay implementation of it in any capacity?
I can speak to that. According to the Department of Revenue, the counties, essentially the entire county process must be completed within 90 days of January 1st or July 1st. And so ultimately, yes, would be the there, it would just delay to July 1st of 2027 if it were to go to a vote through referendum and then it still passes. If this board approves the ordinance today and then it is revoked and the vote is the same as the outcome of this body, meaning that the tax goes into effect, then the collection of that would occur at the county level beginning July 1st of 2027, and that would occur beginning July 1st of 2028. If this board votes to approve this ordinance today and it matter is not referred, then it goes into effect 20 days after the last publication, which will be within the 90-day time of January 1 of 2027, meaning that the implementation would be January 1 of 2027 with the distributions be January 1 of 2028. So yes.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Hearing none, close public hearing. Questions, comments from the board? Wishes?
Just kind of reiterate what I've said in the past. I really won't say this until I'm blue in the face. I hate the fact that the state has laid this on our shoulders. I don't feel it's our position, but here we are. But also in the past, when we've had kind of contentious debates, it hurt on the flat. Grant theft. Nobody who wants this. That was proven wrong when we had public hearing. Public hearing on this, I can truly say, side of this board, I haven't had anybody walk up to me, email me, or in this room say they want this. To me, that shows a lot. Now, while I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who do want this, they're either not passionate enough about it, or they're worried about what it might look like, the fact that we're taxing the least of these once again. That's a huge part of where I'm at. I'm trying to, as well as my own things, and nobody has come up to me and said, yes, this is a good idea. And now we're also looking at a cost for a special election. Those aren't cheap either, so we're in a position where I feel like we're fighting a battle, but it's just more money that's gonna be encumbered upon the county commission. So.
Any other thoughts? Wishes, motions?
Well, I think the couple of comments today have summed up my perspective. I've shared plenty of words on it already, and I have waited and listened and really have not received any comment from the public, communication or mailings from the public supporting this. So all I've heard from the public are what I think are strong arguments to at least not implement this at this time. So I make a motion in the interest of, in one sense, saving our county a cost special election to decline to pass this ordinance at the time.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And roll,
Mochler,
no.
Graylobe. Brady,
Yes.
Teasy,
No.
Gilbertson.
No. Motion fails.
I'm gonna just speak a little bit too. I echo Kevin about this should not be on us. This should have been a statewide thing. But we're here now. And it's put on us founders. But you guys have the option with the referendum to take this to the vote. Some of the things that, said with numbers. Mr. Garish this morning said, if you spend $45,000, that's $250. Not a lot of people are going to spend $45,000 in our community. And this is, this affects everybody, owner occupied properties. And whether the amount is, the state says 56% or 20% or whatever, that savings adds up, goes into their pocket, and hopefully is spent locally. So it's a trickle down effect. They can help the sales tax and in other ways, because the argument is this is not going into our budget. But the trickle down effect will help some when it's countywide. That's basically my opinion, and it's tough. It's tough for every one of us here. And so I would make a motion to approve this second reading.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mochler,
Yes.
Graylobe,
No.
Brady,
No.
Teasy,
Yes.
Gilbertson.
Yes. Motion passes. Now we have the second reading of proposed ordinance 2026, an ordinance authorizing the declaration of fire danger emergencies and regulating open burning throughout unincorporated counties. Anything to add to last week's?
I don't have anything. I know that Kevin mentioned a typo, which may still be in the packet, but I could carry and correct it. I think the official document. I see one on 4D, where the word barrels again shows up with two L's. And maybe this might be another one.
Corrected.
Okay, she believes she corrected that one, but
Only got one L here.
it's only got one L in the copy.
It has two L's.
But on the official
Printed
document.
copy does not. Otherwise, I mean, that certainly could go over it again, but we've gone over this a couple of times. The intention behind it is just to clarify and make, allowing the board, as well as the emergency manager, have some more authority and discretion to implement a ban when we're not at Lake, a red flag thing. It also, permits the sheriff's office. I've had conversations with Sheriff Howe as well as Chief Callahan to ensure that, there are ways to hold people accountable and appropriately, who violate the ordinance. That's been the whole intention behind the clarification. I can take any question that you have. Meeting, and I think even the meeting before that, so.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 2026-06.
Second.
Somebody else got it.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? The one thing about this, and it doesn't matter what year we've talked about it, it's just a rain. Whatever we talk about it.
All right.
I would like to delay, put it on every meeting, the next, and then bring it up next summer.
Did you allow for public comment?
I have not yet, sorry.
Sure.
So I'm gonna allow comment if there is any on this ordinance. Hearing none. We do have a motion, a second. There was no further discussion. Roll call.
Mochler,
Yes.
Graylobe,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Teasley,
Yes.
Gilligan.
Yes.
Motion passes. So vouchers. Lane. For matrix report.
This is really just informational stuff that the state sends, so I don't know
Oh,
that,
okay.
I don't know that Lane has anything to present, but they're required to send that information to you every quarter. Just,
Okay. I didn't know if there was something.
Informational,
signed,
yeah.
So
they send it to me and I pass it along.
sound good. Anybody have anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved. Second.
Motion in a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say aye. Adjourn. Thank you.